Ain't on this soul train. You thought the darkness was your ally. You merely adopted it. I was born from it, so I don't run from it. Cause a winner don't quit on themselves.
I'm telling these tears going far away, far away. Oh, be the last one burning to the flame. Freedom, freedom, freedom.
Hey y'all, this is your cool ass black cousin, Monica Makita, and thanks for tuning in to Freedom, a literary podcast. This is a podcast where we explore the nuances of black culture by living our true narrative and gaining liberation through literacy. Black comprehension and literacy rates are at an all time low, so let's make reading great again. This podcast is sponsored by Conscious Kingdom. Be sure to shop online for dope head wraps, clothing, accessories, and all things inspired by the culture and the African diaspora. You can check that out online at shopconsciouskingdom.com. Again, that's shopconsciouskingdom.com. If you are one of our long-term listeners, you can tell we on a new format. Who this? New podcast. Who this? So yes, we will be switching things up. And this is how we will be publishing from here on out. Thank you all for just sticking in there while we iron out the kinks. To be completely honest, I do apologize because we did have a brief hiatus, and I know in this culture, in this like society, especially this social media world, everything is like keep grinding, keep hustling, and just keep going, keep going, keep going. But me personally, I'm working to defy that. I'm focusing more on aligning with what I am here to do as opposed to just putting things out there to say, oh, I got content. If the content isn't of substance or it doesn't mean anything to me or it's not impactful, just to be able to say I put something out that week doesn't mean anything. So for me, being an entrepreneur, and having this divine vision of what I think things should look like and how I know they will ultimately manifest to be, it's hard. It's hard sometimes, finding that fine line of balance between my life and productivity and, my creativity. It all kind of takes time to kind of just beautify it. So I appreciate the patience in it. I am focusing more on, like I said, just implanting my vision into the world and sharpening my intention before I just throw something out to the universe. I think that moving without intent and just without a deep intent, when your only focus is just, oh, I want the likes, oh, I want the recognition, or, oh, I'm trying to go viral with this clip. I think we sometimes lose the essence of what our purpose truly is. So, again, I know I kind of be, a little, inconsistent at times. I'll take that. But I'd rather be inconsistent now and it become what I ultimately want it to manifest, so it ultimately continues to keep getting better before I just keep throwing trash out into the world. Okay. So, like we do each and every week, we want to shout out a Black Business of the Week. We will truly win and succeed when we come together. Our power is in our unity. So even though we are our own business, we do our own thing, we are our own podcast, we will always shout out those who are right there working, shining, and grinding just like us. So this week, the Black Business of the Week is Melanin Uncorked. Jazzy B, also known as Jasmine, is the host of Melanin Uncorked podcast, which is a platform for minorities to uncork with daily life in the millennial world, all the while sipping on a new wine every episode. She provides a platform for Black businesses, entrepreneurs, and guests from all facets of life. Jazzy is a working mom, a podcast host, a creative, all while remaining active in her alumni association and community nonprofit organization. It's not much that she can't do. Check out her website, melaninuncorked.com, to keep up with the podcast and future events. Again, that is the Black Business of the Week, Melanin Uncorked. And make sure that you guys check out my special guest appearance on Melanin Uncorked. We had an amazing interview. Jazzy's energy is so pure, so authentic, and we hit it off immediately. It is such great content. So make sure you check out our episode and all of her episodes. Like, subscribe, check out our website. Again, that's melaninuncorked.com.
That, but you called me a
well,
fucking
I need
nigger.
to stay here. My mother died.
I understand that, but you called me a fucking nigger. No,
I'm sorry.
You weren't sorry when you said it on the phone.
Listen, there was
No,
people screaming
but
at home.
at the end of the day,
I need
the climate that we live in today, society,
I was sorry.
I understand that, but it's above me now.
I need a room tonight.
Well, there's the Best Western next door.
No, please, let me hear. My daughter's here.
I'm sorry, but I mean, I was on the phone when you said it.
I said, I'm sorry. Please, I've had a horrible day
And I
today.
had a horrible time when hearing that.
He won't let me in.
It's above me. She called me a fucking nigger.
Sir, my grandma just
I
died.
understand that, but it's above me.
Please let me.
It's above me. Sorry.
I got my
The
credit
Best
card.
Western is next door.
Sir, the rest of our family
I
is
understand
here.
that, but it's above me.
Please. I
She
apologize.
said what she said.
Yes, the young king that you see there, his name is Craig Brooks. He served us with this beautiful viral moment in the lobby of the Holiday Inn that he worked in. It truly was a beautiful depiction of what we as Black people interacting with entitled Caucasians deal with on a daily. She disrespected him, but still expected his submission and accommodation despite her very blatant racism. Listen, listen, Craig, I I commend him for not allowing himself to be provoked in this type of situation. And what's crazy is I know we're all like laughing and like, it's above me now. That's definitely the 2019 slogan. But what's funny is what I thought about was, if the tables were turned in this situation and he would have snapped on her for her calling him a fucking nigger, like he still would have been viral, but it would have been his mugshot instead. And he would have been labeled as, this thug who assaulted the grieving mother and daughter in a hotel lobby. And I know that we in the Black, Black Twitter and the Black culture, we're hype about it because it's a funny moment. But are we going to get Sister Girl and her daughter together for openly being on the phone and calling someone a fucking nigger and then having the caucasity to show up in their presence and still demanding that they be served? Like he said, there is a Best Western across the street. Like, we don't have to address their hate, but yes to him having boundaries. I love it. Switching gears, what are y'all watching this week? It's a lot of great things on TV right now. This show is all about duality. So yes, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like and subscribe to get more of the tea. All right. So this week I have been tuning into The Last OG. Tracy Morgan is a fool, y'all. He is a fool, but it's a great Black cast. You got Tiffany Haddish. She's playing his ex girlfriend slash mother to his twin kids. So they have a really cute dynamic because Tiffany Haddish's character is married to this really cute and cool white guy. They have a dude, cousin Bobby. He's authentic as hell. Got Method Man playing an old head from around the way. His character is named Green Eyes, and it was so cute in the last episode. They actually referenced Fight the Power and that whole thing and Do the Right Thing. So it was so dope because they try to kind of made it like modern day Do the Right Thing with Tracy Morgan's character and his food truck. It's really good, y'all. And Method Man with his fine self did a little shout out to none other than Dirt McGirt, Big Baby Jesus, Osiris of this thing, Asan Unique, Peanut the Kidnapper, the legend, y'all, Old Dirty Bastard, Wu-Tang Forever. If you've seen my podcast graphic, you see me with a Wu-Tang shirt on. I'm a child of Wu-Tang because Wu-Tang is for the kids. So I loved that part. It was such a great show. So if you haven't started it, stream it on Netflix. The first season and the second season, I think, is out. Is the second or third? I don't know. Well, it's the season that's out right now, and it's good content. Um, it's not all the way black, but it's not Tyler Perry black, but it's still, to me, good quality black TV entertainment, and it's employing a lot of black actors, and I like it. So check it out, and it has some very funny moments as well. So check it out. Again, that's The Last OG. Queen Ava DuVernay has blessed us with When They See Us, a three-part series on Netflix about the horrific true story and journey of Corey Wise, Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusuf Salam, and Raymond Santana, five teenagers of color who were wrongly convicted of raping, beating, and leaving a white female jogger for dead in New York City's Central Park in 1989. It truly is a horror movie for me. I personally have been detained by police, attempted to be coerced into admitting things that I know damn well I didn't do without my mother present or my father. And it's so many people that I know that have been through the same thing, and they all look like me. For many black people, I've heard them comparing watching this series to that kind of gut wrenching feeling that we get when we see Roots and those kind of like slave depictions. It's too real for us because we can literally see ourselves there. It's a film depiction of some of our greatest fears, triggering our own memories of frightening encounters with the police, triggering memories of our brothers, lovers, sons, and husbands who never made it home after being pulled over by those same police. This was so impactful that the amazing Ava DuVernay, she actually had grief counselors and mental health specialists on the set while filming this. That's how impactful this is. I personally appreciate how the story shows all sides of what happens. It throughout the miniseries, it shows you what the interrogate first, what the them being detained, the interrogation, all the laws that were broken from there. Then next, it transitions into the courtroom, the actual procedure, the jury, the judge. Like it shows the DA, it shows all of that, and then it also shows what their lives were like during those moments of incarceration. One of them, Corey Wise, was not even an adult, but ended up going to Rikers Island. If you black, you know about Rikers. Whether you been or not, whether you from New York or not, we all know about Rikers. And he went there as a child. Like, you have to watch this series. And another beautiful part about what Ava did with this is that she actually showed the impact of what this did to the wrongly convicted victims' family members as well. So not just the victims themselves, but their entire family. Seeing the black fathers so fearful for their own lives and how it would be affected if they were to retaliate or show any anger or anything, like if they were anything other than docile. That freedom of that fear of what that freedom would look like for this black man to express his true rage. He couldn't do it, so he had to like allow his child to be railroaded. And you'll see that in the story with Bobby McCray, who's the father to Antron McCray. The children themselves being emotionally and intellectually underdeveloped all screams to the black community that, y'all, it's time. We must advocate and fight to save our children by any means necessary. We have to teach them their rights, laws, what to do and like what to expect in those situations, or at least establish a strong moral compass so that they know within themselves, whether you're present or not to lie on others out of fear, because these young men were manipulated by those factors. That fear of like, I want to go home, I don't want to go to jail, I don't want to do this. So they were at times admitting that the other person did something when they didn't even know each other's names, y'all. Like, it was like, oh, you Kevin? Like, it was literally like that. It's insane. You have to watch this. And the sad part is it's still happening now. Watch an episode of the first 48. Just a few. That interrogation room might not be as intense. Of course, it's not going to be. It's cameras present, and honestly, we don't know what happens when they aren't present. But even in those interrogation rooms on the first 48, you can see the fear and the ignorance, just lack of knowing and knowledge that is painted on the faces and radiating, like it literally radiates from their soul, that these children are terrified. And I say children even when it's grown adults who just don't know any better. You see it. We're not well versed on how to handle ourselves when in police custody, because 9 times out of 10 it goes wrong for us. We got to try to break that, because we can be better prepared within our households faster than they will adjust this judicial system. So we got to do what we can to prep our babies now. Prep those you love now. Have those conversations so we know our rights and we know that. So even if the worst case scenario happens, rest in peace, Sandra Bland and those that we acknowledge that we have lost already. Your family can ride for you because they're going to know what you did in that room, because they've already taught you what to do. Whew, I'm telling you. When they see us, y'all, it's a great artistic work that we should all attempt to watch if we can emotionally handle it. I know it's a lot for people, and I get that. But we should try to watch it and use it as a discussion place to ensure that history doesn't continue to repeat itself. But the beauty in all of this, and the beauty of social media, yes, internets, it has blessed us again, and we are effectively canceling Linda Fairstein. Oh, yes, she was the wrinkled old white lady that was the chief district attorney during the case of the Central Park Five, who had no remorse and just a vengeance for these black and brown kids. There is a quote where she literally says, any black man or black boy that was in the park that day is a suspect. So even if you were just walking by or whatever, the color of your skin made you a suspect for a damn near attempted murder and a rape charge. That was what Linda was on. And the crazy thing is, that same woman, she was viewed back in the day as like a law enforcement hero. She is literally the inspiration for Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit. Because she was one of the first leaders of the Manhattan DA's office sex crimes unit. So legit, y'all, she was like the real life Benson. Well, thanks to social media, she about to be real life broke, okay? Petitions have caused her to resign from all those prestigious like boards and organizations that she was on. And they're calling for her books and all of her publications to be pulled, and all of her cases to be re-examined from when she was operating as the DA. One thing to learn from all of this, and it is truly universal law. What you throw out come back to you, star. Never underestimate those who you scar, because karma, karma, karma come back to you hard. Yes, Lauren Hill. Woo child. Thanks, internet. Y'all got that one. On a lighter note, the finals are on right now. You got the Raptors, you got the Warriors doing their thing. Yes, look at us talking about sports. We're a sports podcast now. Ow. But mainly we're talking about it because during the game last night, Kyle Lowry, he like flew into the courtside stands during like a fast break or something. He's trying to save the ball. It was already close to the end of the game. And when he landed in like the courtside seats, this white man named Mark Stevens had the audacity, the caucasity to shove him, literally put his hands on this man's shoulders and mushed him in the middle of the game while the star athlete was just trying to get up and regain his balance. What made this even more crazy to me is that same white man, Mark Stevens, he actually owns a stake in the Warrior franchise. And for y'all that don't know, Lowry played for the Raptors. Come on, sis, you got to keep up now. So Lowry, he played on the other team, flew into the stands of the other team, and one of the owners pushed him. All right, cool. All right, now, play. Okay. Golden State was already losing anyway, y'all. They was already losing. But what bothered me out of all of this is I'm like, not only is this white man privileged enough to be sitting courtside knowing damn well the tickets that those probably season long tickets that he has quadruples what some people even see in a damn year with the poverty line and things that we got going on in this country. But we won't even talk about that. This man's literally a millionaire, billionaire. So he already has that privilege. But to then think that he could put his musty, crusty hands on a professional black athlete while he himself paid to sit there and watch this same black athlete do something that white man could never do, yet still did not have the level of respect enough to know that he should not and cannot put his hands on that man ever. Ugh. And he even looked like he wanted to do it again after the fact. Like he wasn't done after the initial mush. And it just irritated my spirit because I'm just like, in my Jay-Z voice, still nigga. Like, you still looking at this man, regardless of everything that Kyle Lowry has accomplished. The fact that you, white sir, are paying to see my black ass run up and down this court, you still do not have the respect enough of me as a man and as a person to think that you cannot put your hand on me. It was too much. But Kyle Lowry handled it very well. He was very professional. And the beauty of what happens when you just doing what you're supposed to do and minding a business that pays you, unlike Mark Stevens did, is guess what? Mark Stevens is now banned for the rest of the NBA Finals. Listen, y'all, just call me Drake because I'm rooting for the Raptors to win even more now. If the Warriors got those kind of people on their roster and in their circle, I don't want nothing to do with it. And just like the guy at the hotel told the other white person who let their privilege put them in that peculiar place of racism, gonna fuck me up. It's the mantra for the year, y'all. It's above me now. Kyle Lowry, tell him it's above me now. Each week, we dive into a topic that may be a bit difficult to discuss, but it's something that we need to for the culture. This is a segment that we call Pack Light. We're going to unpack our baggage to ultimately reach our healing. This week, though, I am going to pass the Pack Light. I'm going to go ahead and just alley-oop this over to a man who is very intelligent once you get past this bullshit. Check this out, y'all. This is D.L. Hughley. I'm going to pass the Pack Light over to my man this week.
I like to talk about stories, not the stories that you entertain your children with or the stories that you regale your friends with at a party. Are the stories that edify your spirit. These are the stories that change your lives. These are the stories that take you dark places. These are the stories that make people think that you're less than. The story is, for a lot of black people, what we're labeled with. There is a story among a lot of doctors that would make them believe that black people are more impervious to pain. They can tolerate more pain just because these are educated people who believe the story that black people do not suffer as much pain as somebody else. It consequently is costing black women for the first time in history to die of breast cancer even at a faster rate than white women, even though they don't get it at the same rate. It allows them not to be treated. The story is that black people won't learn, so why should you put money in their educational systems? The story is that black people are violent, so the police can treat them any kind of way. The story is that they're big and they're strong and they're violent and you can fear for your life. That's a story. These stories are killing us. The fact of the matter is that black people are held to a different standard. You have to be exceptional. You ever notice that every time somebody makes it out of a certain situation, out of a circumstance, out of the ghetto, out of the hood, they hold them up as the example. They go, he did it and you can too. Because black people are held to the exception, not the rule. Most people aren't exceptional. You could have a team full of basketball players. They're not going to be Michael Jordan. They're not going to be Kobe Bryant. Doesn't mean they're not trying. It means they're not exceptional. But we have to be exceptional. We have to be extraordinary to make it. We have to do things that most people can't do. Most people aren't exceptional. We've had 45 presidents. How many of them have been exceptional? 1, 2? And these are people that we believe that were picked by God. So if God's picking our president, he would have a pretty horrible batting average. Exceptional is our rule. A rose can grow out of concrete. That's not the ideal circumstances. All anybody wants is the right to be mediocre and still do okay. You don't have to be exceptional. Just okay. Are you trying to tell me that there's any reasonable person that would say Barack Obama and Donald Trump are the same? One is really, truly exceptional. Is Donald Trump exceptional in any way? In any way. But yet he still got to ascend. When black people do not become successful or exceptional, it's because they weren't trying. They were lazy. When white people can't do it, it's because they're a victim. The coal mine closed down. When white people do something, it is a crisis. When black people do it, is a crime. We are held to a different standard. And our story should be, we can be just as mediocre as anybody else. That's the right. Matter of fact, it ain't that I can do and ascend to these great heights. Is that I can ascend to low ones and still be cool. We should change the story. Well, what about black on black crime? That is a story. Crime is about proximity. Up until the 2009, there were more white gangs in the United States than anybody. Right now, white people go to commit crimes at a rate 2 to 1 black to white. Crime is about proximity. You kill what you're around. But the story is that because we are in these circumstances, it means that we're somehow deviant, somehow less than. And that is the story. And that story allows the Central Park 5 to happen. It allows people all over the country to be accused and maligned because the story is so ingrained that they don't even have to tell it anymore. We do it. Every time you turn around, you'll hear people talk about crabs in a bucket. Well, we're just like crabs in a bucket. Ladies and gentlemen, crabs don't belong in a bucket. They never have. If you put anything in a bucket, a crab, a lamb, a lion, they would do exactly what anything does to survive. There is no such phenomenon as crab in the bucket. So if you get a crab in a bucket, somebody put it there. Somebody put them in captivity and overcrowded them and gave them one way out. Anything would act like that. That is the story. And we have to tell our own. And we have to have the right to be just as mediocre and average as anybody else. Not the top, just not the bottom.
This segment is called Freedom. It's the literary portion of the podcast where we dive into literature and different pieces that inspire us to think, to question, to explore, and just continue to read and make reading a thing again. So this week we will be reading from Unequal Childhoods by Annette Leroux, and I thought that it was good to dive into this, especially with considering everything we talked about with the Central Park 5. So let's get started. Social stratification and individualism. Americans are much more comfortable recognizing the power of individual initiative than recognizing the power of social class. Studies show that Americans generally believe that responsibility for their accomplishments rests on their individual efforts. The American dream that we were all raised on is a simple but powerful one. If you work hard and play by the rules, you should be given a chance to go as far as your God-given ability will take you. Yet, there is no question that society is stratified. Highly valued resources such as the possession of wealth, having an interesting, well-paying, and complex job, having a good education, and owning a home are not evenly distributed throughout the society. Moreover, these resources are transferred across generations. One of the best predictors of whether a child will one day graduate from college is whether his or her parents are college graduates. Perhaps 2/3 of the members of society ultimately reproduce their parents' level of educational attainment, while about 1/3 take a different path. The value of cultivating the child. Educators are quite supportive of parents' efforts to cultivate their children's talents and skills through out of school activities. In interviews, teachers at schools shared the following: they all need some physical activity. I think the activities are good because physical activity can stimulate their minds. The music lessons help with the concentration. It is good to have outside activities. End quote. There is an awful lot going on in the world. The wider variety you expose them to, you never know if you have a future playwright in the group or not. It is just something they can enjoy and express themselves in, even if it is not their occupation. Intervention in institutions. Teachers want parent involvement in schooling, especially parental supervision of homework. An unsupportive parent is one who is antagonistic with the teacher and makes the job virtually impossible. If you have a problem with the child, the parent is not supportive of you or the school's position. And then the child is at odds with you and they fight with you tooth and nail, and they basically say to the teacher, I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you say. Although educators want parents to offer them positive and differential support, they also feel strongly that parents should respond to their requests for educational assistance. Teachers shared their frustration with a few parents and their lack of reading to their children. Quote, the parents want them to do well in school. They all say they want their kids to do their homework. They always say that, but they don't know how to accomplish it in many situations. They want to, but do they ever sit down and read to their child? Do they mean well? Educators at both middle class and lower class schools believe parents should take a leadership role in solving their children's educational problems. They complain about parents who do not take children's problems seriously enough to initiate contact with educators. In short, educators want contradictory behaviors from parents, difference and support, but also assertive leadership when children have educational problems. Teachers place a shared emphasis on the cultivation of children's talents through organized activities, the importance of parental development of children's vocabulary, and the importance of responsive and positive parental participation in schooling. As we shall see, these standards privilege the cultural practices of middle class families over those of their working class and poor counterparts. This pattern made it more comfortable and easier at times for middle class children and their parents to achieve their wishes. Many studies have demonstrated that parents' social structural location has profound implication for their children's life chances. Before kindergarten, for example, children of highly educated parents are much more likely to exhibit educational readiness skills, such as knowing their letters, identifying colors, counting up to 20, and being able to write their names first. Children of highly educated mothers continue to outperform children of less educated mothers throughout their school careers. In turn, a perspective to bridge the gap would be to begin those processes as early as possible and overcome the challenges of social class. All right, so I'll take a break there. But again, that was Unequal Childhoods, where they really break down the differences between what your socioeconomic status can have on your upbringing. And I think seeing everything that happened with the Central Park Five is nothing but validation on the fact that we have to do more. We have to do more. If you are unable to do it yourself, reach out to those in the community, the smart girl that you know up the street. If you can't help your baby with your homework, with their homework, reach out to that smart girl or the nerdy boy who's really good at math that live on the block and ask him, hey, can you help tutor her? I'll, do a barter system of something that you can offer it, but just by any means necessary, we have to be more proactive in the education and the cultivating of our children. The main reason that a lot of things were able to happen with the Central Park Five is that they were underdeveloped emotionally as well as intellectually. Let's save our babies. Let's get free. Let's get our freedom, that liberation through literacy. If we're reading more, we're speaking more, we're comprehending more, we're growing more to ultimately be a better people. That's all that I have for this week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and if you really enjoy what we have going on here, please leave a comment. I would love to hear feedback of more books you would like for us to read, topics you would like to discuss, and if you're open to being a guest or a guest that you would suggest us have on the show. This is Freedom, a literary podcast where we explore the nuances of Black culture by living our true narrative and gaining our liberation through literacy. Again, this is sponsored by Conscious Kingdom, so make sure you check out shopconsciouskingdom.com. Like, follow, subscribe, comment to us on all platforms. And like I always say, be conscious, live life conscious, consciously aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, why you're thinking the things that you're thinking, what it means, what you are in this world, and who you are receiving into your world. Process all of that. Take moments to be in the moment. Allow yourself to breathe and grow and evolve. Hold yourself accountable, have boundaries, and just be conscious of the life that you're living. Don't get caught up in the mundane activities of social media, work, school, home, social media, work, school, home. Like, really take moments to be in the moment and just tap into yourself internally to be mindful of everything that you're receiving. I love you for listening and thank you so much. And next week, all right. Peace. It's your favorite Black ass cousin, Monica Makita. Peace and light. I am out.